Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to our solstice gathering. I am super excited. Happy Father's Day to all the different types of fathers that are out there in the world, and to yourself, to that father nurturing and supportive energy within you. Give yourself a little pat on the back for that as well, because we all have that yin and that yang energy within us. And all of that good stuff. So as we are diving in, so let's take a moment and pause and just bring forward that energy of the solstices. So we're in the June solstice. So if you're in the Northern Hemisphere like I am, we are experiencing the summer solstice. So we are in the place of the longest bright, the light is the strongest, the longest of the quote year at this point. So we have the most sun, and then it starts to kind of work its way back in, and we're diving into that next season that is that summer. So the energy is up and out and wants to play and connect and bring that fire energy in that's working with us. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, then you are experiencing the winter solstice. And so it is the way around. You are in the shortest day of the year and experiencing that turning point to go inward, that prompting to start to come into that place of winter, into that place of water and stillness, into that place where you allow yourself to kind of soften the attachments that you've had to the last creation cycle, and give yourself permission to start to dream, to think, to muse about what are the things that you want to create that up and out with energy in the next round. And so I love the solstice energies in the traditional Chinese 5 elements model, which I'm a practitioner of. They fall within the earth element. And originally, like way back in the day, the earth element was in the center of the 4 main seasons. And so every season in between each one, there was this equinox or the solstice energy. And it was this place that reminded us that in between the different rhythms of life, we need to pause. We need to have that moment that allows us to reflect either into the light or reflect into the quote, the shadow, the habits that we don't always get to see because we're just stuck in that habitual moments of creation. And that's an opportunity to shake that up and say, what do I really want to create? And how am I creating? And it also is the equinoxes, which reminds us to bring in balance and harmony. So as I was coming together today about this gathering, I really started to feel that earth energy, the ability for us to feel, no matter what cycle we're in, that place of up and out and exploration, or we're in that place of kind of letting go, coming into that stillness, or we're somewhere in between, that we can allow ourselves to really pause, to find that place that allows us to nourish, connect back to our energy, and allow ourselves to be fed with our own essence. And that's what's in that earth element in traditional Chinese medicine. In the 5 elements, it's the life force energy, the blood within us, the ability to metabolize and to cleanse and clear that which is no longer serving, to draw in and infuse that which is. And then that also ability to sit back and kind of sort with the stomach meridian, of allowing ourselves to witness what it is we're working with on a daily basis, what we're being asked to ingest, what we need, what we don't need, what we want to let go, and what we want to come forward to. So just take a moment and feel into life right now. Life on life's terms is what I like to call it. Like, what's up? What's on your plate? What are you being asked to interact with? What are you being asked to sort and to engage with? What are some things that are calling to you, that want to be creative? Even if you don't know how or when, what that looks like, and you don't have all the particulars, let that muse, that dream, that fire, spark energy come in. The true fashion of balance. What are you also being asked to let go of, to release? That might be a habit, story, thought. It might also be something very physical, a space, a job, a relationship, a way that you saw yourself. All of those things. In that moment, that is where coming back to the rhythm of us, of our essence, our light, and a willingness to see our shadow, that's where we can open to that sweet spot, that place of choice, place of co-creation, and that place that allows us to feel that we are actually living our life versus letting our life live us. That is what the solstice is all about. It's like, how do we want to live that life? Equinoxes bring us into balance with that, but the solstices ask us into choice points, into action. Either that up and out, yes, I want to stoke this fire, or I want to soften and release and allow a new creation. I don't even maybe know what that is yet to start to come in. But either one requires a pause before we can move. Otherwise, we get in a tricky situation that we're working with. And so let me put in the chat. This is the spread. And I'll put it also when I post the replay that I was kind of feeling as I was kind of working with the cards this morning and what wants to come forward. So the first card, whether you want me to draw for you or you guys want to do a general one, whichever one works, but it's going to probably be 3 cards for by the time we're done, is that first card really brings us into that place of letting us see what is that bright light. So Leonard Cohen, in his, what's the name of the song? The anthem? The light is brightest where the cracks come in is where the light can come in. I think it's anthem. I think it's the name of the song. That is so true, right? So we have to have that crack for that light to come in. And that's our growth opportunity. That's our area to kind of like allow ourselves to say, I want to shift. I want to break out of that shell. And if we're in Northern Hemisphere, start to dancey dance, to start to serve with a part of me that has been bound up. And if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, this would be, what is the part of your light that wants to actually grow and develop in this next cycle for you? As you are starting into that winter, what do we need to soften and let go of so that that light can come through that crack? Both directions. The second card is kind of pointing us to where we might get, quote, gummed up, where that light is going to try to be diminished from a survival mechanism and protective mechanism point of view. So this is our shadow habit that if we turn towards that and we allow it to start to talk to us and we allow ourselves to explore what is our relationship with whatever that card is that it's bringing forward, we'll start to see where we have a self-saboteur up and running. We have that protective fear, that survival fear. And if we can start to soften that, how would that help us bring not only that into balance, but the first card? See how they kind of build off of each other? And then sometimes we get a little stuck there. We're like, well, that's great. I can see that, but I don't know what to do with that. And that's where the third card comes in to kind of give us a starting point, an entry point and connection that says, hey, if you look here, and you start to unwind this, it will bring balance to these first 2 areas. It will help you ignite the light and it will help you release the fear and the survival and the habit. So it gives us kind of like that direct line. So the other 2 give us the topic and give us some understanding. So we release the shame and the blame. The third one is kind of the workhorse in this spread. It's the one that's going to say, come here and then go backwards to where you are at and how that's working. So any questions about the spread kind of in general? You can do it obviously with the Sacred Witness Oracle deck, which is a fabulous deck, I have to say. Or you can do it with any other deck that you've got that's, as long as it has a shadow work component to it. So Like this deck is the Shaman's Oracle deck, which is one of my favorite decks as well. But we're not going to pull from that one because I don't have permission to do that. But you can use other decks as well. You can use tarot for this one for sure, because it works off of an archetypal pattern and other stuff like that. Just the decks that won't work so well with this type of spread are the sheer affirmations, kind of like lift up decks, because you won't get the nuancing in there, or you'll have to put it in yourself. You'll have to listen to why you're arguing with that card and going, I don't believe that, and putting the card down. So you can totally do it. If you have a favorite deck that like is affirmation based, you can bring it to this, but you're gonna have to work a little bit harder in that as you're working with that. Okay, so do you have a preference of how y'all would like to do this? Let's do it. What do you want, Susie?
So you said it was either personal or group?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I don't offer personal readings very often, ladies.
Personal.
So,
okay.
Well, if I wasn't willing to do it, I wouldn't offer.
All right, I'm there.
All right, Susie, you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So just take a moment and feel into kind of what I was talking about beforehand. That place of what's kind of up for you right now. And is there something that you want to be able to let that bright light open to opportunities? You got that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now here we go. Okay. So the first one, your bright light, is committed action, and this is the woodpecker. And what I love about woodpecker energy is that, and this also sits in the soul bean. So this is one of the medicines of the soul. So this is calling forward that idea that you have within you the ability to like make a choice, commit to that, and work through kind of allowing yourself to get all the way to the goodies. And so that's like what the woodpecker is somehow like can hear it, can see it, and is willing to do the work to kind of get to that what it's searching for and what it's looking for. It also says that, are we willing to be consistent with our voice? So the woodpecker energy actually has a lot of voice attached to it. And so I like this. This is saying, okay, that bright light, that area of growth and opportunity for you in relationship to whatever it is you were talking about, is that you can start to allow yourself to have that voice and consistent. Like it's okay to be heard. It's okay to work towards what you want, and to stay committed to that. So that's our first one. Does that make sense? So tracking?
Yep.
Okay. Ooh. The second one, the shadow habit and the block of the survival, the protective fears that wants to come forward, is another soul being card. And it is the medicine of connecting. So unlike connection, which is in this deck, this particular one is the act. So these are two action cards in here now. So the theme that I'm starting to feel is like allowing yourself to actually be in movement, which goes with that fire energy. And what is the block? So that means that in the past, if you felt like you were moving towards that which served you, potentially it was the worry or the fear that the connection wouldn't be there. It would be broken. So if you look at these two horses, you could think, well, one came up and asked for the other one to groom it. But what if that other horse said no? And what if it walked away? Or what if it like judged it? Or, all those what ifs that can come in there. And so when we have those what ifs, then what do we lose? A committed action, right?
Okay.
But if we can help ourselves work with, if for some reason, whoever we're asking connection with, whether that's a piece of ourselves or somebody else, if they don't reciprocate, we're not left alone. Another version of that connection will be there. Then we can hold this one without it getting compromised. So where to go now to help you be able to do that? Oh, bean. So this is the main card for the heart bean section. And it is the lotus flower. And that lotus flower, as you know, is such steeped in meaning, but it is that flower that does grow in the dark. It does kind of grow through the muck and it needs it and it needs that support in order to pop up. And also, if you try to open a lotus flower too early, it just won't do it. Those buds are so tight. They open and they allow themselves to come at a certain um, rhythm, right? As it is. So we can't force our heart being open. It reminds me of Carolyn Mace when she talked about in her things of Teresa's teachings with entering the castle. And she says, as we go into that fourth mansion, the mansion of that inner heart and of our soul, we can knock on that door and we've got hinges on that door, but we cannot pry it open. It's got to open itself. And that kind of is the piece that it's leaning towards right now is like, how do we help soften that? How do we help it feel safe enough to open? And so as you're feeling into this, what would help you feel safe? What do you need? You don't have to answer out loud unless you want to, but you're more than welcome to. What do you need? What would be helpful? What would bring that in there? And since it's just the two of you in here, I'm not going to post this recording. So I'll send it to YouTube, but I'm not going to post it anywhere else. So feel free to dive in if you want to, or not.
Well, I didn't, when you said think of something, nothing real specific came up except, and that word accept or just that, I mean, just more wanting to, accept myself, more wanting to be that whole being.
Or this.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. I get wiggly when some people have, just very specific things. And like when you say, it's committed action, I'm like, "Ooh, well, what does that mean?"
What if it's simply saying, this is my season? This is my season to open my heart. This is my season to allow myself to move through the discomfort and the fears and follow whatever that heart is as it opens.
Okay.
What if it's that simple? And by simple, that's actually really to do.
Right.
But that inspiration that says, you know what, I really feel excited about this, and whether somebody else agrees with it, likes it, disagrees, whatever, I'm excited about this. I'm going to put some of my time, my treasure, my talents towards that. And then it doesn't have to do anything. Like it doesn't have to be the Gandhi, whatever, you know what I mean? Like it just gets to fulfill me in that passion, in that heart, in that experience. If it does something, great, amazing. If it doesn't do something that looks productive from the outside, still great and amazing because it fulfills who?
Me, myself.
So I think like the connection that you're reclaiming is really to you.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And nobody's going to get you off of that. Just like this woodpecker is like, nope, this is where I'm going. and nobody's going to derail me from that. I'm going to stay on this. I'm going to let my voice be there. I'm going to move with that.
Okay.
Down.
Okay. So that's where the committed action, it's just the, yeah. Committed act. Yeah. Okay. To express my full expression, to open and not be afraid or under somebody else's kind of, okay, connection to really find out about me. Okay.
So that this lotus flower isn't opening for somebody else to judge it. It's just opening for who?
Well, for me, because that's the expression. Okay. Okay.
Somebody else thinks it's beautiful. Wonderful. Somebody else gets inspiration from it. Amazing. If somebody else thinks, oh, that is what's all the fuss about, fine too.
Okay.
Because you're sitting there doing your thing. Does that work? Okay, there's your solstice reading. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
All right, Miss Carol. How are you?
What a beautiful card. And wow. Yeah, it's always a group reading in a way too.
It is. It's still a group reading, but it'll come in a little bit more. Okay, so you got your kind of thought, your musing? Something that you want to work on, yeah?
Yeah.
But not work on, growth, opportunity. I like the words that came in while I was typing. I was like, ooh, those are good.
There's many. So I'm trying to
Do they have a theme? Like,
I think it's again trying to be myself, express myself, and also find my heart. Like it really what you just said, I feel like it really spoke to me because that heart is, you know, this through the body embodying, I'm starting to feel it more and it is softening, and I'm also just feeling things that, deeply, deeply.
yeah, the heart is the law of sensing. So it does bring us into actually sensing parts of us that we never did. It's deeper feeling. There's that one quote by Desmond Tutu in the Book of Joy. It's somewhere over there. And, and it is that idea that joy doesn't mean an absence of not feeling like sadness or upset or problems. Joy is what allows people actually, as we unlock more joy, we're going to feel more. We're going to feel those depths of those different, but what it gives us is a buoyancy to move through those waves without trying to brace them or to resist them or just allow them to wash over and know that they will also reside, right? Like they will come in and they will go back out. And so as you start to feel more, literally feel more, sometimes there's a fear in there, like that we're going to connect to things that feel in the past would have been overwhelming. We didn't have anything to do. We had nowhere to go with it. And so therefore squash. And to do that, we have to cut off the heart. We cut off the heart and we cut off our voice. If we cut off our voice, we cut off our ability to move.
So both those are just, big ones. Yeah. So And I'm creating space. I'm trying to do it physically. Yeah. But I think cutting off, I don't want to cut off anymore.
Maybe that's that growth area is like, once we have the heart, so Susie's is step one. Now step two would then be once we start to like let that little lotus flower open and start to sense and feel and have that inspiration, is how do we start to express that, even if it's just to ourselves, that full experience, that I want to have full expression, good, the bad, the ugly. I want to fully express myself with that courage. And in that, I'm honoring my life, right? Okay. So step one for you is that giving yourself permission to be in a death and rebirth cycle. That when something ends, it doesn't mean that it's over. And bringing that into that something new will come out of it. It might have a similar essence. It's definitely going to include the wisdom of whatever you were up to before, but it's going to take on its new form and its new life. I think the piece about the Phoenix energy of why it really wanted to come in and what was really interesting when I felt the Phoenix come in for this card, in this particular one, is it does sit in the mental being. It's allowing ourselves, the Phoenix, while it is, quote, immortal, what if the Phoenix just kept judging itself based off of its past life? right? So the feeling that whatever it did in that life, and then it went to its ash, and then it came back up again. What if it said it just could only repeat this life? What would be the point of this, right? Like there would be no point. It's not about trying to compare cycles. It's about letting each life be its own life. Let's just pause on this one. This is a huge thing that came through as Phoenix wanted to be a part of this cause, because our mind says, oh, it's immortal. It just gets to keep going. It gets to keep living that life over and over and over again, going back to young and live that life over. But it's not. That's not what Phoenix is about. It's about allowing itself to live a whole new one. So do you have any thoughts on that one before I go to the next one?
I just feel like I have to honor the past, but just honor it. And then I think maybe, and then put it somewhere and honor it. But I don't have to keep bringing it to something new. I just keep trying to. So I like that. I like that.
And it will carry the wisdom from that life, from that experience, from that, whatever that was, that creation cycle, to its next version. So it will include that, and it will also expand it and let it come in a new way, even if it feels like it's in the same environment, like it wants to experience and be with that environment differently.
Oh, because I feel like I'm almost doing, like I try to start a center and I try to do all these things, and now I'm a different person. And maybe those same things I'll be doing. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't know. So, but now I'm different. So I don't have to think that the same person is doing, because I may do very similar things. So it's tricky for me because I'm like, oh, but I'm different.
You're different. Yeah. So while it might have a similarity to it, it will look very different. For example, unbridled change is going to look very different for me, but not for everybody. Does that make sense? Like it's shifting, it's doing its thing, and I'm letting go of one form, but I'm allowing it to now take root in a new form where some things will look the same and some things I don't know what they're going to look like yet.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so that's our life. That's our growth opportunity, is to really embrace that willingness to let ourselves change form and be informed by past wisdom, all that good stuff, but letting each new creation be its own standalone creation, right? Ooh. So card number 2, this is interesting. I'm really asking, I'm like, ooh, tell me more. So it's the soul medicine of understanding. And the soul medicine of understanding does have it, like these are archetypal patterns in here. There is a shadow and a light version. So since this particular card is asking us to lean into the shadow, you're going to get to learn the shadow one here in a second. So the shadow one of understanding says, I can't move until I know who, what, when, where, how, and why. I can't allow myself to let the medicine treat the wound and open to the growth and do this until I fully understand why what is dying and what is coming is coming. And so we can block ourselves with the shadow side of this, which is we want to understand why in the shadow as a way to protect ourselves. If I could understand it, I could say to somebody, I could justify why I'm doing what I'm doing, what it is that I'm up to. And therefore they might actually believe me, accept me, work with me, whatever it is. I'll be okay. So we come at it not from the light side. We come at it from a shadow detective with furrowed brow, hands on hip, looking for the whodunit so we can understand the motivation, what's happening, the fine print, all of the things so we can protect ourselves. That's the shadow side of this medicine. It's really harsh. It's got a lot of shame to it, a lot of looking for what did we do wrong? What do we need to do better? There's not a lot of grace. There's not a lot of light when it's running in that side. But when it's running a little bit more with some flux energy in the light, that then allows us to say, you know what? I don't have to know everything. I just need to know what I need to know when I need to know it from whatever perspective I'm being asked to see it from and let go of the rest. And that's kind of the fox when he's in the light. It's just kind of doing its thing, being very opportunistic, going with the flow. And it's kind of smart, it doesn't try to like do everything. It just moves in the direction that the energy is moving. And that's the understanding. It pauses long enough to know what it needs to know, but it doesn't try to know everything. Is that making sense?
Yeah, because even in the toning class that I keep going, and no matter what. And so but I'm trusting more, but it is a process of like, I'm trusting my body because I see it actually knows what to do. So I'm trying to tell my mind, it's okay. And then I'm trying to let the spirit inspire me to move when it's inspiring me to move. So these are all things, but yes, absolutely. That is so me right there. I do see it.
And so the shadow fox is a little tricky. It's a tricky one to rein back in because it's really based in just survival. And so we want to really honor that when it's starting to try to get like, and pay attention to like literally what your body's doing. Is it furrowing its brow? Is it trying to figure it out? Is it trying to push in? And it's got a little frantic energy to it. Then you're in the shadow side of this medicine. If it feels more like it's willing to sit back, kind of take a look, follow something, then you're in the light side of him.
I have felt both sides. I'm definitely starting to feel the other side, but then I go right, yeah. So okay, that'll help me. Yeah.
And if you lean into, so this is from the heart beam. This is the shadow card for self-sabotage. And it's the tall poppy, which you guys have all heard me say that the poppies learn to grow at a lower rate because anytime they grew taller, they got their heads lopped off. So they learn to stifle themselves until every once in a while, there's one that's like, you know what? This does not feel good. I'm going to reach up there for the sky. I want to get, out of, can it live a life down in here? Yeah, absolutely. It can. It can be a beautiful life, but is it the life that wants to be lived? Right. And so those are two different questions. So if we lean into starting to be aware of those sabotory things, those stories that say, oh, I don't know if I can do this. Other people can do this, but not me. This might, whatever your particular flavor of your saboteur is, if you kind of like lovingly link arms with it and say, hey, what are we up to? It will naturally lead you to where you need to balance the understanding and then open up that new growth. It's a pretty good reading, you two. You put these two together. So
yes.
The key to this one is you got to know your flavor of your saboteur. And we all have like a certain flavor, and the flavor is almost always based off of what kept us small in our early, like first part of life. What kept us from bucking the system too much, what kept us from really challenging what the environment around us would allow so that we wouldn't get our head chopped off. So that's the work of this card, is to really understand what is that voice? What does it feel like? What's the posture of it? What's its soundtrack? What's all of its stuff? So that when it's there, you catch it sooner and faster with love and compassion. Because it didn't just wake up one day and say, I'm going to keep you small. No, it learned to do this through generations. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. There's lots of those in there. I'm meeting them.
Mm-hmm.
But I like that tall poppy. That would be nice. I don't want to be small forever.
And they're still beautiful down in here. They're still amazing. And so I always like to remind myself that when I was living down here, it was beautiful for me at that moment. And I was trying to live it as full as possible. But I also had to like consistently fight myself to live this way. What would it feel like to stop fighting ourselves? What would that feel like? Like to just like stretch out You're like, okay.
I don't,
And so we don't want to like, we want to give love to ourselves for these versions of us because they're there for a reason and they probably did help us. They just weren't all that we have within us.
no, it's beautiful.
All right. Let's take a moment and feel in. Feel into that invitation that our saboteur was designed to help us manage the power that didn't have a place to be in our environment. That if we claimed that power, if we had embraced it, if we had given it a voice, it really would not have worked out too well for us. Our head would have gone metaphorically really dull, and sometimes not metaphorically. This solstice is about allowing us to release those habits, welcome that light that is shining through those cracks, and letting ourselves sing, letting ourselves grow, letting ourselves have that gift of freely expressing, and feeling, and experiencing our heart, our true self, with courage, with laughter, probably a little bit of tears every once in a while. And most of all, honoring that connection to ourselves, to our heart, and to that amazing being that we are. And so, oof, oof. Ooh, that was a fun little gathering. Anything else in there? I'm pretty good. Well, then I am excited. I kind of like that we got to do, I was like, oh man, I don't get a Monday session with y'all. And I was a little bummed about that. But now it just came a day early. And how fun is that?
It's so
Oh,
nice.
that was lovely. Well, thank you for hanging out with me today and having this reading. I'm going to take these readings and I'm going to work them with you both because they definitely are speaking to me too. So thank you for calling them forward and being with us.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you
welcome.
so
Yeah.
much.
One thing, Michelle, and you know, you're glowing right now. Okay, you're exuding, and it feels real genuine. I want that.
Yeah. Well, because there's also this right with it. It's glow and it's tears. It's like just allowing all of it to be there. And that's what I didn't used to be able to do.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So it would have been, it would have been not. It would have been one or the other. And this says, I don't have to have one or the other. I can have a part of me that's like sad, like I'm seeing like the background, you know? And that's that. But then there's also this place that I know that Phoenix is there, you know? And I know that I have beautiful souls like you guys that are there supporting and cultivating and helping and supporting and cheering me on. So I'm not alone. That connection is there. I would have in the past, my shadow habit would have blocked all of that. And it would have been a solo horse standing in that card saying me against the world. Did you gave me this, Susie, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one. I just kind of caught that. Like that was totally me. But now there's other horses. I still like this one because I still need to remember, and it looks like Diesel too. So I love that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
does that make sense?
That's part of that's part of that heart expression. And not the why or the specifics or even comparison. It's yeah.
Yeah. So I can honor this form. And I know that when it goes to ash in a month and a half, because it's going to, that then the next phoenix little bird is already there. It's just waiting for me. Like that medicine is already there. And if I stay more in alignment with honoring that, I can move through the grief with the grief and with the birth, because they're both there. It really, honestly, if you had told me that this world existed like 6-7 years ago, I would have told you no, that's not like reality. It is. It really is.
You mean the cycle that you're going through now?
Well, just this in general for all of us, that we can have a phoenix moment at some place in our life at any given moment. And we can also have connection and laughter and joy. And we can open to that without feeling victimized or lost. Like we can do it in a way that lets us honor the and have that moment of honoring that and wishing it wasn't that. And then all the, the 5 stages, all that good stuff, but move through them instead of getting stuck at one, so that we can open up to the next.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Because sometimes you kind of feel like if it's the wrong people and you're talking about some of this, that you almost feel like they shame you or re-traumatize you, so you don't want to say it anymore. So having this community of like even, today, the 3 of us, I mean, that it's such a gift. It's such a gift.
It's a beautiful gift. It's a gift for me. It's a gift for each of you. And how beautiful is that? Like what you just said, Carol, it reminded me, somebody asked me the other day, like, they were asking me more questions, and I held up a boundary to this particular person. And I said, I'm not going to talk to you about what's happening or why it's happening. I'm just telling you what is happening. If you want to know that, I'm sorry, that's not going to come from. I had to be that direct, because the person didn't really want to be in that authentic connection with me. They were trying to transfer their grief to my story. And I'm like, my story doesn't have that grief. It doesn't have all of that in it. So you can have your story and you can have your experience, and that's great. But I'm not going to expose, like, so I literally wouldn't share, and the person got pretty perturbed. And I'm like, it's not yours to have. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
it's not in there because this is just not yours to be a part of. And again, that boundary that we can say from our heart. And we don't have to accept the connection from other people if it doesn't match us, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Well, this has taught me that, because then you don't know that there are people out there sometimes when you're that lone horse, and then you're in these places that really allow for everything to be there. And if you don't, I feel like if I didn't have that, like that's one of the main things for me, is that connection of safety, which I never had. So this is like, it's huge for me, the safety. So,
And yeah, the safety big time. Because I think I'm still learning to, it's like when something felt uncomfortable with other people, or, I didn't have the boundaries or what I didn't know about, it was always something's wrong with me, that the energy feels off, or the connection. It was always me, as opposed to, it doesn't have to be always me.
It's what their system is currently running with, and what it can have access to and what it doesn't. And their system doesn't get to, I don't know where it went. Where's the poppy? Their system doesn't get to go and lob off your head.
Gotcha.
It can try, and it will just swipe the air, and you'll be like, nope. Nope. It just won't do it. And they might get really perturbed and they might eventually then walk away. Right.
Yeah. I love that. It's, that is part of self-love and the power and, standing up for yourself because no one else can.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
This did bring warmth to my heart today. So thank you, ladies.
thank you.
Um,
Thank
that was my little prayer this morning. I was like, please have whatever's going to show up be for the highest good and benefit and bring warmth. And look at this beautiful moment of warmth. Makes me very happy.
Thank you.
you. Me too. Me too. Thank you so
All
much.
right.
All
I
right.
will see everybody in their different spaces. Fortunately, not Monday mornings, but we had this. And then, so if I don't see anybody, and then I will see you on, what is that, the 28th? No, whatever that is.
We know it's the Monday after. That's right.
Out of my
After
head right now.
tomorrow. Yeah, you got it.
29.
29th. Okay, I was one off. Okay. Oh, all right, ladies. We'll have a
All right,
beautiful,
thank you.
beautiful one. And I'll email this to you all once it downloads from the cloud. I'll send it to just your email.
Thank
So
you.
much love. Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Bye.
Bye.